Hi guys, welcome to a new video. Today we're looking at this small raft style portulacaria afra or dwarf jade. Um, this was a old cutting that I had. This has been growing this way for several years, probably 3, 4, 5 years. But it started out as just a small cutting, and it was on the back of my bench. It fell over. Just kind of drooped over and just kind of kept growing, and then just kind of ignored it for a while. But then I was like, well, I kind of like the way those roots look, and it kind of fell over, so it kind of looks like a raft style. Um, but anyway, today we're going to repot it, give it a prune, just kind of look at it and see what's going on. But yeah, I'm really liking the rugged look of it. Bark's starting to get rough. The roots are exposed. Let me get this little guy out of the way. And then take some of these rocks off of here. But it's been in this pot for probably 2 or 3 years, so it's well overdue for a repot. And it's kind of, if you can see down here, it's actually starting to grow upright, or some of the soil's washed away, so it's kind of springing up out of the soil. So when I repot it, I'll probably tilt it a little bit so this is laying more on the soil, maybe, or just put a rock under it, maybe, just to give it that raft style look. We'll just have to see what it looks like once we get it out and see what the roots look like. But so first we got to get it out of this pot, so we'll put this tray here to catch some of the soil. It doesn't look like I've got it tied in, so hopefully it will come out. But like I said, it's been in this pot for a few years, so it may be a little difficult. So I'm just gonna take my little rake tool here. Just gonna break up some of the soil that's on the side of the pot, just to make it come out a little easier. Yeah, it's starting to loosen up. Sometimes it just needs a little encouragement. Let's see if that did it enough. There we go. Yeah, this is this soil mix that it's in is lava, akadama, and I kind of mixed feelings on it, because what I find is, at least here in Texas, that akadama just kind of breaks down to almost like really fine muck. Because it's dry now because I haven't watered it, because I knew I was going to repot it. But when it gets wet, it just, I don't know, it doesn't have a lot of aeration. And I had one of my trees planted in it, and the tree just kept declining. And I was like, what is wrong with this thing? It wasn't a portulacaria, but I kept like, what is wrong with this tree? And I said, well, I'm just going to go ahead and repot it, just to kind of give it a fresh start. And when I took it out of that pot, it was just a bunch of soggy muck under there, because my akadama broke down, and about lost the tree. But anyway, I put it back into my current soil mix, which I find working a lot better for me. It doesn't break down, but it still retains enough moisture and nutrients and things. So I'll show you that here in a minute. But anyway, so I'm kind of moved away from akadama. I know a lot of people like it. And I have used it for a few years, several years actually, but just, I think my trees do better in my current mix, so that's where I'm going at the moment. Yeah, doesn't look too bad. Not as many roots as I thought I was going to have, but still a decent base to work with. So yeah, I think that'll look just fine. Let me go ahead and take this little sprout off down here and I know some people kind of completely bare root the trees, you know, take all the soil off, but I don't always do that. I don't feel you need to, but as you can see, most of it's off. All these roots around the edges don't have any soil on them, so it'll give it a chance to work into the new soil. And what I'm going to do with this one, the pot I'm going to use is this kind of a rock planter. Kind of like this for my smaller trees, especially with this rugged look. I kind of get it in there. I think it just adds to the rugged look of it, so I think that's what we're going to do on this one. Get some screen down here. Sit this tree over here, make sure it's not going to fall over. That'll work. And then my current soil mix, and I've got a video I did a little while ago. I think it's called Pruning a Tree or something and Mixing Bonsai Soil. So it's kind of a dual video. But anyway, my current mix is expanded shale, turfus or calcium clay, and sifted bark material or organic material. You can use compost or whatever. I'll see if I can get a close-up view, but you can see these larger pieces are the expanded shale, and there's been studies on this, how it retains moisture and lets it back out for the tree to use. And the calcium clay or turfus, I think most people either love it or hate it, but I find that it works fine as long as I don't use a bunch of it. My mix is probably around 60 to 70% shale and 20% or so turfus, and then the remainder just this sifted bark or compost or whatever. So what I'm left with is these just little wood chunks, the bigger pieces. So I do have organic material in my mix now, and like I said, my trees seem to like it. I use it for all my trees, my portulacarias, my ficus, my newer ones that I just got. So like I said, it's been working for me. I think you can just about make any soil work as long as you understand how your temperature, your climate, watering, all that stuff, how it works for you. You can make anything work as long as you get your watering schedule and all that down. So, all right, I think that, look at it down here in the profile to make sure I've got enough roots exposed. I think that's going to work out just fine. Yeah, I like that. So go ahead and get some more soil in here. All right. Let's go ahead and see if we can work some of that in a little bit. Just to make sure it's settled around the roots. I didn't tie this tree in just because it's got a decent, stable root base on it, so I don't think it needs it. And I've got it somewhat protected outside, so Don't have to worry about the critters jumping on it, squirrels chewing on it, all that good stuff. I know this rock planter is not really a traditional bonsai pot, but I just like the rugged look of it, so it works for me. It's starting to stiffen up, and one way you can tell as you're nestling the soil around the roots, if you try to wiggle the tree, when you first put it in there, you'll see it's got some movement to it, but as you start nestling that soil in, it just kind of locks everything in place. So then if you try to wiggle the tree, it doesn't wiggle as much, so you can tell that it's kind of working its way in. And I'll use the chopstick like I did earlier, and then sometimes I'll just kind of tap on it. It helps, the vibrations help nestle it in there too. And like I said, once you repot a few of them, you'll kind of get the feel of if you've got air gaps or not. Got to put a little bit more on there. And my color of my soil kind of works well with this rock too. It just kind of adds to the rugged look of it, I think. Yeah, I think that'll work. We got it kind of piled up there so it looks more like a raft where it's kind of fallen into the soil and anchored in, which I don't think ports do. I've got a few raft style and they don't reroot like some other trees do. But anyway, you can still simulate the raft look there. Got a little bit of rocking going on, so let me go ahead and get more nestled in here. Yeah, that's better. Put a little bit more soil back there. That'll work. Okay, so now let's get to pruning here. Just take some of these long shoots back, and then this tall one here, it's probably out of the camera range, but you can see it's really tall, so we'll go ahead and take that one back down. Probably let that grow a little bit too long. It got pretty thick, and you don't really want thick branches that high up on the tree, but this one's hiding on my bench and didn't get to it, but that's all right. And then this is the front of the tree, but it was away from the sun. You can see this side, everything's growing that way. So again, I'll flip it around on my bench when I put it back out there. I know I've mentioned that before about rotating trees, and people have left some comments on some ideas on reminders and things like that. Part of it's remembering to do it. And you know, the way I've got them set up on my bench, it's, you know, everything's visible from one side. And some of my trees, I just don't like looking at the backs of them, but it's still kind of a must that you flip them around though, just to keep it all balanced. So I always try to do a better job at that. Yeah, this one, it's kind of morphed over the years as far as the design and shape of it. It's almost, I mean, it's a raft style, but it's almost like a clump style too. So I'm really trying to develop it, you know, these gnarly looking branches and trunks, and then just kind of a rounded broom canopy on the top is kind of what I'm shooting for. So I guess you can maybe call it a modified clump raft hybrid. And I've just got these wires on here kind of because at one point this back branch here was getting too heavy on top, and it was drooping down towards the back, so I put that wire on there just to hold it up. It's probably stable enough to where I could take that off, but it's not, I don't think it's really biting in anywhere, so I don't think there's any harm keeping it on. But let me go ahead and look at that just to make sure it's not biting in. Move it maybe a little bit. Actually, I loosened that up and it's really not moving, so I think I'll take that off. Yeah, that branch stayed in place there, so I think we're good leaving that wire off. This one here was just to kind of hold these upper ones together and kind of reposition this one in front. Just wonder if that could come off. Let me try it. Yeah, it seems pretty stable. We'll see. Yeah, it kind of sprung back a little bit, but I think that'll work. All right, just go ahead and take some of these shoots that have grown out back a little bit, and they'll kind of re-sprout out. Get me a denser canopy on top. Yeah, I think that much better. Nice little haircut. Be nice if I could get these, I need to grow these out a little bit to get some more density over here, but it'll get there. Maybe I'll set it sideways on the bench so it'll start growing this way. Yep. I think I'm happy with it. Okay. I think we'll leave that one there for today. Let me give you a quick spin around. There's the front. There's the left side, the back, right side, and back to the front. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.